Fellas, you know Degree Cool Rush deodorant, right? Well, last year they changed the formula, and guys were mad about it. One dude even started a petition. So guess what? Degree heard us, admitted they messed up, and brought the original Cool Rush scent back exactly how it was. And it's in Walmart, Target, and other stores now for under $4. So grab some and remember why its cool, crisp, and fresh scent made it the #1 men's antiperspirant for the last decade. Degree Cool Rush is back, and it smells like victory for all of us.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
It is the Talking Real Money podcast. Believe it or not, we're back for another episode. Holy cow, do these guys keep cranking them out or what? Who are these superhuman individuals? Well, I'm Don. That's Tom. We talk real money here on Talking Real Money. That's the name of the show. And we talk a lot about investing and saving money and spending it a little, but we really do primarily spend our time trying to help guide you to the thing that is probably the most important financial goal in life. And that, my friends, is retirement. You got to get this right. You need to have some money because, sorry, Social Security is not likely to cut it.
But let me interrupt you because I want to make sure I'm clear on one thing about Social Security.
That's Tom, by the way, interrupting me.
Thank you. It's likely to be there, but it doesn't provide enough income.
Right.
Okay.
Right. I mean, I went and looked.
That's all.
I went and looked at mine, and I'm less than a year from being FRA,
full retirement age. Is that?
Yeah. And it's like $3,000 a month. That combined with my wife's meager retirement because she didn't work nearly as much. I mean, we couldn't live in Topeka, Kansas on that.
Yeah. And yet it's more than half of America that relies entirely on Social Security in retirement.
I mean, we would be very, very poor. We would be as poor as our daughter. Which is kind of sad.
Yeah, let's not go there. What do you say?
But, you know, getting to retirement is a challenge because there is so much misinformation, bad information, silly information, horrible advice. Oh, my gosh, do we talk about horrible advice. But Tom has been just he's been doing his research. He's been just
research,
ear to the ground, nose to the grindstone. Just
something
digging deep.
Where's the nose? Anyway, here's the thing.
All right, we're not going for the explicit ranking on Apple Podcasts. All right.
Here's the thing.
Yes.
People have all these weird, they think they're rules of thumb. They're like superstitions about retirement. Like everybody knows that. You know, 'cause I heard that from my neighbor. Like, where'd you hear that? Oh, because he told me. So they have these weird ideas that they sort of get passed along from one. Okay, I'll ask you one.
Okay.
Because this is one of the superstitions.
I love quizzes. I love quizzes. And by the way, I have no idea what's coming.
Yeah, so I have not told him. Okay. So one of them is reaching a certain age prepares you for retirement.
Reaching a
certain age prepares you for retirement.
Well, it actually reaching a certain age kind of makes you look more forward to it. But does it prepare you? I think the answer to that is what? No.
Right. It doesn't. No, there is no, and by the way, there is no age for retirement. People also think that, I'm 65. Okay. If you're flying an airplane or you're working in the military or something, then
you raise a great point. Who the heck was the person who decided that 65 was the age we suddenly became unable to do a job for income? Who came up with that rule?
Yeah, and it's silly at many levels because there's people. By the way, there's a guy I just read about who's 90 who's still doing some. I forget what job he's doing. So that is a completely. You should get rid of that. I mean, you shouldn't even think about that. It seeps into my thinking a little bit sometimes because I'm 64 now. Sometimes I think, well, my dad quit at 65. So and my sister used to tell me that I used to say I'm quitting at 60, and she thinks it's upsetting that I'm still working at 64. I'm like, I like my work.
When we were younger, did you not, when you were younger, think that age 60 was flippin' ancient?
You're never going to reach that one.
I'm going to be dead before I get there. So the heck with this whole saving thing. I'm not bothering with it.
So that's
Guess
a
what?
silly one.
Tom and I both reached 60 plus.
Yeah. And we're still here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And by the way, we like being here.
Yeah, I enjoy my work very much. How about this one?
Okay.
There's another one that I think that comes up a lot. Attaining a certain savings level will make retirement better.
Yes.
It is, yes, but here's the thing about yes, it is.
Because for me, it was always the $1 million mark. It's like,
because people think that though too, and I'd say, well, what's your spend? Well, what do you mean? Well, how much money are you spending? Because you could save $1 million.
No. But here's what my thinking was. Let me just tell you what my thinking was. My thinking was, if I get to the $1 million, and with Social Security, I can adjust my lifestyle now to not be impoverished, to at least not be hungry.
But people still today think $1 million is a lot of money. People in 1965 thought $1 million was a lot of. It was a lot of money in 1965. No offense to $1 million, but today, it's worth about half of what it was in 1965 or somewhere in that area. It's not even close. So the answer is kinda. I mean,
my new goal is 2 now.
Okay, which so keep working. But
even at 2, I'm not going to be able to replace my current income. No way. Not even going to come close.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about. I mean, we want to get into the specifics. We've talked, you and I, but that I'm going to try to reduce my housing expense down to almost nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take whatever's left on my mortgage, refinance it to a 30-year. Hopefully, rates stay relatively low. My house payment is tiny. I stay here. Even if I don't, I don't even want to tell you what the house is now worth according to Zillow. But even if I do nothing, the amount of equity I have in this, I could go buy half of Iowa or something. So anyway, that one is the
Topeka.
The thing I didn't like about it is, again, people think, well, I got $1 million. I'm rich. I can retire. Maybe. Okay, here's another one.
Okay, I'm ready.
More time and fewer distractions will enable one to create the life I've always dreamed of. I love this one. This one, I just think it's fabulous.
No.
The answer, of course, is no. It has nothing to do with it.
And again, here, let's talk personally. I'm 65. I think about this sometimes, particularly when somebody at the company for which we work says,
and we're members of, we're partners.
And we're partners, but with whom we work, that they, they just want to do something, and it's silly and it's bureaucratic, and I go,
are you crazy?
Yeah, I just want to quit. Damn it, I'm quitting. I'm out of here. It's not worth the trouble. And then the next day, I'm like, okay, that's better. That's better. I'm better. No, really, we both talk, and we have talked about this. Tom and I talk about this a lot. What's our next act?
Mm-hmm.
And if we were just on video, this would be great because I just held up a copy of Third Act magazine.
Exactly.
What's our next act?
We're not going to be Tom Skerritt. Bad news.
Third Act magazine.
You might be Tom Skerritt because you're going to be in a movie.
Third Act magazine, which features a great piece by Don McDonald on page 18, right there. It's not a video.
Why you don't need an annuity, an immediate annuity, or any annuity.
To plug
no,
the magazine.
I mean, again,
but we've talked about it. What are we going to do next? What is next? Have you thought about that? You've got to have a purpose. You got to have engagement. You got to have a thing. I've seen it. We've talked about this. And it's
my
not
father
golf.
did not like retirement. No, or vacations. Which is fine. That could be part of it, but that's not the big thing. So again, back to this. That one's.
Did I get that one right too?
You got that one. And here's another one that I think comes up a lot, which you may or may not be aware. Medicare eligibility will save money and cover medical needs. There's another one that people think that's easy.
That's not true. As a matter of fact, again, from a personal level, my wife is getting to be 65. So now we're at that point where should we stick with our private insurance that we have through our company, or should we go to Medicare? Well, I spent hours, multiple hours, tens of hours running spreadsheets, getting quotes from people, looking at part B, part D, part C, part Q, part L, part, onion. And I made that last one up. I think I made some of those up.
Yeah.
And when it really, in reality, for me, it would have been more expensive. to go to
Medicare rather than
Yeah.
staying on a private plan.
Yeah, shockingly.
It's not as easy, as cheap as you think, and you should definitely talk to somebody in that business before you even get close.
And be very wary of a lot of these Medicare Advantage garbage plans where it's like, we'll give you all this coverage and we'll send you money and we'll buy your groceries and we'll send you on a vacation to the Bahamas. What they're going to give you, what you're going to get, trust me, you get what you don't pay for. You're going to get horrific care.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Which is another thing that people
So you could be
forget
dead, but you still get your groceries paid for and a trip to the Bahamas.
You know what comes out of all these superstitions for me? Out of all this discussion generally is, and I know this is it's painful for me because, this does not fit my personality. And that is, and I tell this to people all the time, be flexible. You may have to change your plan. You may not be able just to stick with, I'm doing this and this is the way it's going to happen. Maybe not. So while we think we all know the future, while we think we've built a plan that will work for all circumstances, many times, frankly, it doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, honestly, a year ago, 6 months ago, who expected a war in Europe? I certainly was not on my radar. I wasn't thinking, oh my gosh, thinking Middle East maybe, or India and Pakistan.
But not Europe, no.
But not Europe. And now we have a war in Europe, and it's thrown a wrench into the economy. But that is what happens.
Indeed. Yeah, I think that's a good point, Don. Flexibility around all things.
Got to be flexible with life and your investments, and that's one of the things that we're big advocates of. We also are big advocates of answering your questions. We love to answer your questions. You can call them into us at 855-935-TALK, or you can send them in at talkingrealmoney.com, much like this one. Starts with a hint of sarcasm. I know how much you guys love type questions, so I thought I would send one.
That's good. Thank you.
My wife and I are both in our mid-30s. Oh, wow. Look, we have young people.
Good.
And we're looking to start a Roth IRA for each of us. She already has a 403B, and I have a 401k. I wanted to go straight to Vanguard and set them up myself, but my question is, where should the money go? We're fine with risk and have no plan to touch the money until we retire. Please help. Thanks. Guy in his 30s.
Okay, so when you say where should I'm assuming like how should it be invested?
Of course, this is the typical question.
I just came into this Roth, so what do I do?
No, we're going to start a Roth. Where do I put it? But he did answer some of the important planning questions.
Okay, but here's the thing. So likely the money when it goes in the Roth is going to go into a group of stocks that are not available in either retirement plan. What's he talking about?
You're talking about going for asset classes that you cannot get in your 403B or 401k.
Most people in their 403B, 401k, et cetera, have large U.S. stocks. Oh, you got the S&P 500. Most of them have one probably pricey international fund. So that you mean you got large international. From there, it's the total hodgepodge. You might have small, you might have mid cap, you might have value, you might have none of. So you'd have to look at those and say, well, we're really missing real estate investment trust. We're missing U.S. small cap value. We have no real international exposure. So then you would hold those things in the Roth IRA, which, by the way, you could get all those asset classes at Vanguard, of course.
So this is what you're saying is you need some sort of strategery and a portfolio plan.
Yeah.
You need to look at what you have, find out where the pieces are missing or what pieces are missing, and then pick up those pieces and add it into the portfolio. So if you have large cap U.S. growth and large cap international growth, then in your Roth, you probably want to look at U.S. small cap value and international small cap value, maybe real estate, maybe emerging markets, those kinds of things. Because they do have 30 plus years to wait this out. Now, the other question is, you have no plan to touch the money until you retire, but this is the important one. Will you when things feel bad? Because a lot of people we've discovered, as I punch my mic, a lot of people we've discovered don't have the plan. They don't plan to take it out, but when events happen like those that are occurring right now, I've heard it in my own family. should we go to cash right now and
No.
maybe get back in after the
Come
war
on.
settled down?
Oh, after the war settled down. Sure. Yeah.
Love
No,
her.
that's a very good point.
Love
by the
her to
way.
pieces.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. Yeah, I think that you make a very good point. Can you stay the course, by the way, in good times and in bad times? Because we know in good times, people get crazy too, right? They got to have crypto. They got to have meme stocks. They got to have whatever it is. And we're pretty sure that's turned out poorly for many people as well.
All right, I have another question, and
Yeah.
I'm not sure I know the answer to this one.
I hope I do.
Hi, Tom and Don. I have another question for you. This one involving I-bonds. These are the Treasury inflation-protected savings bonds.
You bought 2 years worth right now.
I have two
at
of
them.
them.
7%, 7.1 or something. Good for you.
I know you can purchase 10K of bonds as an individual and then up to 5K yearly from your tax refund. My question is regarding I-bonds for an LLC.
I don't know the answer.
I have a side business which is filed as a single owner LLC and has its own EIN.
No, I bet you the answer is no.
Can you invest 10K yearly in I-bonds as a business, or should I only purchase them up to the amount my business earned?
Okay, well, part one. Let's go back.
Okay, LLC. You if they're doing it as the direct pass through, it's your income. So really, this is not you're conflating tax planning and buying of I-bonds. But
yeah, I think that's true. But going back again, and I was just trying to look up if a business can buy I-bonds. I don't know. You're going to look into that. But here's the thing. Don't get so caught up in I-bonds that I'm going to buy them every possible way I can. They should be still part of your overall plan. If bonds make up a huge part of your portfolio and you need them, then yeah. But if you don't, then don't just buy them because they're paying 7.1%, because don't they adjust at some point?
They adjust every 6 months.
6 months.
Every 6 months.
So, I mean, I wouldn't run out and just say, well, I can buy more of them, so I'm going to buy, it's like anything. You can eat too much candy, right? I mean, so you don't necessarily need to buy more just because you're all excited about the 7% as of today. I would be careful about over enthusiasm for I-bonds. I mean, good Lord, who thought we get so excited about 7% too, by the way?
Let's see. I think maybe you can. Hold on. I'm actually looking.
I see the financebuff.com says yes, you can.
Says yes. That's where I am. An entity.
But I don't know if the entity buys them, then you can go buy some more on your own. Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah, and see, that's what
that's tax ID. That's difficult to say.
Okay, here we go. It's called an entity account, and that's when a business or has its own Treasury Direct account. Let's see, purchases, sole proprietors, personal limit, business limit. Yeah, it basically, the opinion seems to be of a bunch of people bandying this about online. And I haven't read the Treasury website, but a lot of people seem to think because the business has its own EIN, that you may be able to do $10,000 per EIN. It would certainly be worth going to Treasury Direct and seeing if they allow you. Here's the thing: if they allow you to set up an account using your EIN,
good point.
Then that's it. Then they're considering it an entity account, and if it's in fact they open your entity account for you, then my guess is they're letting you buy the $10,000 worth of I-bonds.
And the only reason I'd buy them is because your strategy calls for owning more bonds.
Right.
That's it. Not just, I could, so I will. No, I wouldn't do that.
Right. They fit into my portfolio. That's where I am putting some of my inflation protection safety money. So but I'm not going to go out and buy them with my tax refund. I'm just going to get $10,000 a year, and they're a part of the overall plan.
You're getting you got $10,000. You may not next year because who knows what the rate will be.
I probably still will,
you think so?
As a matter of inflation protection. I think I'm still very likely to keep doing it because I like getting into the habit and the discipline of it.
And see, I have inflation protection. It's called equities. But thank you for that.
Right. I have that too.
Oh, okay.
And I also have 4 children. I'm just counting on them as inflation protection too.
Some people say you don't have to rely on your parents, on your kids in retirement. I say,
Yeah,
been a
why
tremendous
not?
burden on me for the last 50 years. Why not? Come,
Exactly.
I got no problem with that. Come on.
Payback, kids. Payback.
I got no problem. So I got to ask you a question before we go.
Me?
Where will you be on May 14th? May 14th, 2022.
Hold on. I'm looking.
Check your calendar.
Oh, it's right there on my calendar. Oh, I know where I'm going to be. I'm going to be in beautiful Bellevue, Washington at the lovely Maidenbauer Center in downtown Bellevue, where if you come to our event to see us, you won't even have to pay for parking, and they have the best darn sandwiches around.
You're still waiting for one of those. Been a couple of years.
Those
sandwiches.
They do a roast beef sandwich with a little horseradish mayo.
Oh, there you go.
That's
there you
so
go.
good. And the roast beef, it's like rare but perfectly
so if you're
cooked
out of town, if you're not in the Seattle
I'm really
Northwest
hungry.
area, I get that. If you're not in the greater Northwest area, guess what? Now with modern technology, with computers and the interweb and all that stuff,
but you won't get the sandwich.
You don't get the sandwich, although Don may send you part of his.
You
can join us.
We certainly hope it works because this year Don's not doing the technology
that's a good
portion.
Point. Yeah, that's wow. This is going to be a more of a produced show for those of you who cannot attend. So the virtual event, if you're in the greater Seattle area, highly recommend you come. You get to see us in person. It's a great program, by the way. We've got tons of wonderful speakers.
Says the guy who does the program.
Well, yeah, okay. I may be a tad biased, but here's the thing. And you learn about Medicare, you learn about housing, you learn about consumer stuff, you learn about retirement income, portfolio development, all that in one. It's basically like 5 or 6 hours.
Yeah, and we're going to, at Retire Meet this year, we're going to officially have the baton. We're going to pass it we're going to invite Russell over. We're going to pass the baton from the Seahawks to the Broncos.
You're never going to let that
Russell
one go.
Wilson.
I'm
Broncos.
bringing in
Jim
Jim Zorn just to make you feel bad that day.
Not Jim again.
Jim Zorn. He's going to come in and tell some football stories. Anyway, so
that
join
was
us.
Your fault.
That was
by the way.
I still have the contract. I just found that the other day.
That was your fault.
So, May 14th, the virtual event, if you can't come and join us, and you can sign up right now, either way, at retiremeet.com. Join us.
No matter what the spelling is.
Whatever, MEA, MEE.
All right,
so
but you opened the can of worms.
Okay, what? What am I doing?
Box.
Yeah, what?
Now people are going to want to know the Jim Zorn story.
Oh, my goodness.
Now that you've opened that up.
Okay,
year one. Let's go back in time.
The first ever, and this is year 8? 7. 8?
7.
Okay.
7.
So people really want to know.
Yeah.
This was Don's big idea to get all
Retire Meet was my big idea.
I know. Okay.
All right.
I got that.
Don't blame me for the other.
So his big idea was we'll get all these experts together and we'll do a full day. Well, 3/4 of a day, 2/3 of a day, not a full day, because nobody can sit there for a full day unless it's a Paul Merriman class. But here's the thing. So you're going to come and you're going to listen.
Jim Zorn class.
Listen to all these people about Social Security, et cetera, et cetera. And I said, what? What did I say?
You said, yeah, but we need a big name.
No, I said it wouldn't work.
Oh, first he said, no, this is a stupid idea.
Dumb as
he goes, we just need to go do, we just go back to doing our little classes for 50 people that we do at the hotels and stuff like that. And I said, no, this will be great because people are starving for great information.
And apparently for roast beef sandwiches.
And roast beef sandwiches.
It was your idea.
We decided to do it. And I said, let's get a well-known financial person.
You can't get any of those people.
Right. We couldn't get any of the really good ones. And I said, well, what about Paul Merriman? He's not famous enough.
I don't. Okay, now you're going to really throw me under the bus. He's going to be not very happy when he hears that. Paul was, I think, not available the first year, if I remember correctly. We asked him.
Maybe that was it. But then he said, let's get somebody in who people in Seattle know.
Yeah, exactly.
And he said, how about Jim Zorn? And
I threw out, I said, Gary Payton is one, right?
And I
threw out some major figures that people may or may not remember.
Yeah.
Who's the Native American who's played quarterback for the Huskies? Anyway, I threw out some names.
But you threw out Jim Zorn right off the bat almost. And I went, do you mean the coach of the Redskins?
For about 15 minutes, yeah.
That Jim Zorn? He goes, no, he played for Seattle. I went, yeah, I remember. That's when they were in the same division as Denver.
Yeah,
That
way
Jim
back.
Zorn, way
I
back.
think it's the mid
And
1970s.
I kept thinking to myself, he was okay, but he wasn't that good. And I said, and what's he going to talk about? You went, I don't know. I said, well, okay, as long as it has something to do with money. And you go, I'll tell him to only talk about retirement since he's retired.
Asked me, his agent asked me, he asked everybody. And remember, even as he was walking up the stage, like, it's vestry, right? Yeah. And it's me financial. Don't worry, I'll work all that in, retirement, all that stuff. And what did he do for 40 minutes? Football stories, and not even good football stories.
No, he brought a football to hand around for people to touch, and they let him touch his ring.
Know. Yeah, it was, at least they didn't kiss it. He was, no offense, Jim, he just was not the speaker that we were hoping for. So that was my bad idea. So now you don't get Russell Wilson. You don't get Jim Zorn. You don't get Daryl LaMonica for that
No, but
matter.
you get somebody far more fun. You get Apollo.
Apollo
I love
Pescu
Apollo.
is
not
gifted.
the Greek god Apollo.
Well, he looks
like
chiseled.
a Greek god.
He's chiseled like he is.
'cause
Apollo
he plays
is
water
a
polo.
gifted speaker, tremendously knowledgeable, and
And then
very relatable.
Don't forget
relatable.
Herb Weisbaum.
Herb will be there. Yep.
Oh, wait. And the pièce de résistance.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, yes, he's going to be there again, Mr. Paul Merriman.
And I never said he wasn't famous enough. And I know he listened, so I am in trouble now. So thanks a lot for killing me on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Join us the 14th.
You might have implied it.
Jim Zorn, I'll take the fall. That was my bad idea. So
Zorn.
It's never happened since.
Jim, I'll take the fall, Zorn.
Sorry.
Are we done now?
I think that's it. I got nothing left after that.
All right.
I'm just plain feeling
Tom's
bad.
just burned out.
I think it's over.
Life's over. So we're going to go away now. We're going to end the podcast, as we always do, with this simple statement. No matter what is going on in the world, every day, almost every waking hour, Tom and me sit around researching and talking real money. There, dramatic enough for you?
You went away for a moment there, so I hope everything's okay.
Yeah, recorded. All right, we're done.
Whew. We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for informational, educational, and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. Providing personalized financial planning or investing advice takes time, so please consult with a really good fee-only fiduciary investment, tax, or legal advisor. We know a good one. Investing must always involve risk. In other words, you can and probably will lose money at times. Also, as much as you want it, no one can accurately and consistently predict the future, so past performance doesn't tell you a darn thing about what the future will bring. Unlike many other programs that say something similar, Talking Real Money is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Appella Capital, a fee-only registered investment advisor. Thanks for listening, and please visit TalkingRealMoney.com for more information and disclosures. That's a wrap.